Morning. Monday morning. Okay. So, what's up today? I did a bit more actually just before waiting for the stream here today. I did the noisy part first. I came a half hour early. Yes, exactly. Somebody's got it. I've been persuading off stream. So we'll have crunch. It's crunch this morning. So it's this. What have we got today? We're going to finish this block off, the brown block. So I'll be starting the next color block. It's the one with the green pine needles. We'll be doing that, finishing tracing that one, pasting it down, and starting that block. There is show and tell. Still, we have an embarrassment of riches of show and tell. We'll have a quiet one this morning, I think, though. And in between show and tell, 2 envelopes arrived that are not related to show and tell stuff, but we'll be opening these partway along the street. Get us on. Good morning. How you doing?
Sorry.
Before, I know it's backing up. There's been lots of flea market stuff. They're rotating again.
Right.
We put that thing out Friday night, so there's like Cameron's order box says. Cameron's order box has 273 items in it, so he's going to be good. But a bunch of it's flea market, and also an order came in. We've got the Tokaido prints that are all on one page, 10 or 11 on one page. Then you put up one separate one.
Did I?
Yes, you put up a separate.
Not recently, maybe previously.
Whatever, it wasn't there a couple of weeks ago, and it's there, and it's sold, and it's called Selection from Hiroshike's Tokaido, different from this one. And it's the old number. It's Y059.
Okay.
And there was only one picture, and there wasn't any question about which one to buy. But it was the Hara picture, the one that Mount Fuji bumps out of the frame, and I can't find it.
Okay.
I can't find it here, there. But I've sort of seen it recently.
Might be somewhere around my desk.
I did. I looked a little bit and I thought, I think I don't want to go any farther through this. Those stacks.
If it's an interesting thing up on the flea market, like it's got one picture, it might have been one that I've gone, oh, I'll put more pictures up later and kept it.
I hope so. Anyway, so you'll see, if you look on the flea market manager page, or on their website, the sold section, you'll see it there. It's Mount Fuji bumping out of the top.
Yeah.
It's Hara Station, although it didn't say that on the and that's gone. So.
Okay.
And this morning a couple more. So the lady is from Australia. It's a muffled mask Australia accent.
G'day, mate. That's good.
What part are you from? I forget again. I'm sorry.
South.
Melbourne? But South.
Adelaide.
Adelaide.
So it's like a mix of Old English and German.
I'm supposed to be wearing a mask. She's within 2 meters of me.
I'm
Upstairs. She's going upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, lots going on. Thanks, then. Hi. The mods are busy already adding permitted terms. Look at this. Okay, hi. Let's get some work done. So as I said, we're going to do some crunch work first. We'll open a couple of envelopes, then we'll prepare a new color block, and then have a show and tell at the end today here. Oh, I forgot to put the mic on. That's why it's a different mic setup. God. I had it ready, but because I was persuading, I clipped it up away from me, so sorry about that. I can't do anything. You guys catch everything. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Good, thank you. I still don't really understand what happened on the nice moment. I Googled it a little bit after I saw the stream chat at lunchtime. I thought, what is this? So I Googled to find out what was going on, and I learned that we don't talk about my birthday this week. There's a culture on Twitch, obviously lots and lots of stuff I know nothing about. Absolutely. Okay, let's get the camera in the right place here. Yeah, Cody Gully got spooked about that the other day. It was funny. No, we don't need the scope this morning. Of course, it's just clearing color blocks. But I still need a bit of help. So we'll just use this lens here. So. Cameron sent out that mailer Friday night. We prepared it Friday morning, and he sent it out Friday night. He timed it, I guess, for midnight Japan time Friday night, and it's been a busy weekend for the order box. Cameron's been off for the weekend. Of course, he's coming in this morning. He'll start in a few minutes, I'm sure. And there are hundreds and hundreds of orders in the box this morning. So this is the last gasp for us before the end of the year holiday season. Over in other countries, they have their Black Fridays and they go right through until Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But we can't go that far because of shipping. So for us, this next week is one of the busiest weeks of the year. And we still are stuck for Australia. So we're going to go to the post office again this morning. I'll be going down there this morning to try and find out if there's any chance of getting stuff through to Australia. And if they still refuse, if they still say no, then we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to do a double shipping. We'll ship all the Australian packages over to America on our own nickel. And then America they're still accepting shipments for Australia. There's no direct flights now between Japan and Australia, but I guess there is between other countries. So we're going to take all our Australian backlog shipments, send them over to America, from where they will be sent to Australia. It's going to cost, boy is it going to cost, but whatever these people have been waiting for, in some cases now they've been waiting for half a year. So we're okay this morning, are we? You missed the persuader. Well, we did a bunch of persuading on the last stream a few days ago, and then this morning I did it before the stream started because I really feel it's not so. I can't talk while it's going on. I can't see what's going on while it's going on. It's just noise. So I did it this morning before hours. By the palm tree, the coffee shop across the street. There's two coffee shops across the street. The one across the street and down a way, it's the very, very old-fashioned 1960s style Japanese coffee shop, still full of cigarette smoke. Never, ever, ever go in there. But it's they've got plants, and all their plants, of course, are in planters. And whether it's because of the cigarette smoke or just because it's an easier way to do it, they have a landscaping company, Four Seasons Landscaping. they have a landscaping company to come in and change the trees. And it happens, I guess, every couple of months, 2 or 3 months, I don't know. I don't have a schedule on it. And that's what's happening this morning. The guy brings his truck up and he swaps them out, the big stuff. So those I don't know what they are, palm trees or apricia, I forget the name of those things, I can't remember. So they're being swapped out this morning. So. People apologizing for being late. I think there's only one person that needs to apologize if he's late. That's this it here. There's got to be something wrong with the stream when viewers apologize for being late to a Twitch stream. Have to be careful with this a little bit. I know there's all these little chips and wood chips are coming off onto the back here, but the back of this board is not blank. The back of this board is the key block. So I have to be careful. If I let some big hard chips here, and if I muck around, especially when I'm persuading, it can damage the key block. So I've got to keep that in mind here. The back of this thing is delicate, damageable. So it's going to be one of those days, it is. Is it today? A poetry day? Last time this happened, I had a blast. I choked my lunch down, I was trying to eat my lunch, reading this thing. This was a couple of months ago when you guys did this before. I nearly choked to death, Speaking about translating poetry, poetry and stuff, the show and tell we had the other day, those Tokaido prints, the Senshafda prints. Remember the set that had the 2 stations on each one and there's 1 station missing, that series, that set. They're all, it's a poetry set actually. The cover sheet that wrapped up the set calls it Tokaido Meibutsu, Tokaido Famous Products, Tokaido Famous Products Poetry Series. And the poetry was, we talked about it at that time, Kyoku. And I've got those things scanned. Oh, actually, they're online too. John-san, can I ask a favor? Can you put up the link? Can you put up the link to that Tokaido set that I put up the other day? And it turns out that each one, of course, has a poem on it, and they're supposed to be satirical poems. So I would really, really like to try and figure out what they are. But it's well beyond the capabilities of any general translator. Satirical poetry, it's full of allusions and jokes and gags and references, and unless you're a specialist, there's no way you can translate it. So. Did I notice the different cartouche style in the two sets of image? One of them is square, right? And one has the rounded top. Is that what you mean? You talk about birthdays. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in 2 days. I'm 11/11. I'm 11/11. Actually, it's 5-1-1-1-1-1. It's a funny birthday date, actually. 5-1-1-1-1-1. 5 followed by 5 1. So it's kind of interesting. I would never be able to forget it. But here on Twitch, I guess you don't mention what birthday it is this time. You don't know. I'm kind of getting to the same stage as my mother, you know. My mother's here this morning, I'm not sure, no idea, but she's like, long ago, we don't talk about birthdays anymore, okay? I'm like, okay, whatever. And Dave is almost at the same stage, birthdays, we don't talk about birthdays anymore, you know. Just please stop. Stop them coming, you know. So, John, if you're looking in any, okay, go to any collection page, look in the search box at the bottom, and it's now changed. The search box at the bottom, you can select a genre, and you can select Senschaftler sets, and then once you've selected genre, it comes up with the set. Then once you've found it, in the data section, there is an open link from outside. Because the URL is obfuscated in the browser, every item in the collection has a link in the data section. Here's Kitasan.
Haven't found it yet.
Haven't found it yet. Okay, it might be here then. One place I didn't look was in the old overstock drawer. There's lots of Tokaido prints down there, and I didn't go through that, so it might have somehow got put back in that section. So. Yeah, someone's got it. Good. Thank you. On the stream this morning, they're playing again with the poetry haiku or quasi-haiku on the stream this morning. So it's great. So I'll be able to cough up my lunch today. Last time they did this, I spit up a cup of coffee. Now, for those of you who are not sure what's going on here right now, this is pre-cut. Now, all the lines around the tree here have been cut. They were cut the other day. I cut all the lines. You can see one part of it here. That's already been cut. That was stage 1. Stage 2 was scooping away. And the stage 3 section now is just moving up to the cut line. So it's already actually been cut. So there's nothing specifically dangerous about what I'm doing here. I'm going to take out the gray part, just slide up to where I was before, and out it comes. So I have to be careful not to ram forward into what you're seeing as a pink zone here, but it has already been cut. Find it?
Yes, but it's an FM number.
That's strange, isn't it? Maybe it's a different one then. At least we've got one. Okay.
The website as well, and the like supplemented photos of it.
Yeah.
They're actual photos, they're not scans, which means I don't think it's one that I put up.
I haven't done flea market work in years. Interesting. Okay.
Like you just
Rose San did it? No, Rose doesn't put flea market stuff up, does she?
not usually.
And she wouldn't do a Tokaido because she knows about the other, But you and I were talking a month or so ago about changing that system now. Instead of having a bulk Tokaido print, to having a number for each one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm talking Kira-san's here. She's in the shop over the section sorting out flea market prints. There's been orders for flea market stuff. She's getting them ready and things like this. It's truck wars outside today to show. A tree truck and an Oshibori truck. The coffee shop across the street is getting a delivery of new trees today. I mean, these are trees. They've got little white, the trees. Well, they're taller than me, about 2 meters. It's like palm trees. The decorations in the coffee shop. There's seats and a tree at the end.
Not in the ground.
No. They're in buckets, and this guy wheels them out into carts and brings them back in. And every few months, I don't know exactly when it is. They change every few months. Well, it's the same thing. I guess they're the same kind of tree. They just swap it out. So it's cigarette smoke here, no sunshine. So I guess they can do it for 3 months at a time, and then they need to go back to the tree farm where they sit in the sunshine and enjoy being with their friends and stuff. Then come back here for another 3 months term in a smoky coffee shop.
At that point, if you're changing it every couple of months because cigarette smokes, you need to either smoke less cigarettes or put a ban.
That's your customers, whatever. There's the two coffee shops. This is the no smoking coffee shop, and that's the smoker. It's just the old-fashioned 1960s style.
The bar I used to go to just around the corner here has closed.
Has-
Not fully. The heavy metal bar. It's just
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. So.
I didn't notice before.
Ginza Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Is smoking indoors allowed in Japan? It's in a transition time. When I came here in 1986, there's smoking everywhere. Trains, planes, everywhere. There's no place that was no smoking. And now we're, 80% of the way there. It's hard to say. There's been a bunch close, and all of the regular places that I used to go for dinner before the pandemic hit, they're gone already. Pronto around the corner, gone. The Wired Cafe, which made those beautiful taco rice bowls, gone.
But aren't they, I'm not sure about why, but I don't Pronto is a chain.
It's a giant chain. They've closed this one. It's gone. It was never actually very busy, that one. Never busy. They weren't. I think they weren't modern enough. I don't know. They're gone.
Just as I was walking here, they were taking down 2 more signs in the shopping space.
Nakamise, you mean?
Yeah.
But that's flourishing. There's lots of new ones. So many new ones in there.
Really?
If you walk through, in the middle of the day, you walk through there. Shin Nakamise. You're talking about the one up to the temple, the old one, or the new one, the crisscross, the arcade?
one that goes perpendicular.
Crisscross to the temple, the arcade street. It's flourishing. There's so many new. You just take a look. Go down in the middle of the day. Not at this time when the shutters are still half closed. No, nothing stays empty for more than like 2 or 3 days before bang, there's a brand new shop in there.
Things are they selling?
There's new matcha stores. There's new restaurants. The old kaiten sushi place has changed to a new open restaurant. It's flourishing.
So it's definitely food is the main.
It's food. Absolutely food. And then discount shops. I know. What do you call it? Factory outlet type shops and stuff like that.
It's just so strange because just before the pandemic, Japan was moving away from all that like basically cheap factory outlet stuff.
Well, my mother's here having no sound. Is the mute button on your keyboard pressed? I guess you're getting advice from the, There's a mute button on your keyboard, Mom, up near the top. There's speaker icons. If you press some of those and see what happens. She's no sound. She can't hear me. Soka. If we can, oh, she's got it. Found the speaker. Good. Nice, Mom. Thanks. Welcome back. I tried to Skype you last night. You were too busy with your puzzle. Actually, my mother will be quite sad today. The news she will have seen. Very sad day for her today. My mother's a very big fan of Jeopardy. Always has been. So. Done. This corner down here. Somebody did the Woodblock printmaking workshop here. Look, I don't know your name, sorry, but you did the print party? We've got lots of veterans of the print party here on these streams quite frequently, so. Veterans of the print party. Should get a medal for it. Okay, this one's almost done, just this last corner here. Then we'll move on and start the next one, and that's going to be the pine needles. It sounds like gravel. Yeah, I know. I should be a bit more careful, I guess. Is it that audible? Interesting. Can't get away with anything here these days. See that, Kira-san? This block, I'm working away on the front of this block here. And the back side, actually, the back side of it is the key block. You know, I'm working with both sides of this. And because of I'm chipping this, all these little chips are going onto the cloth here. I got to be careful. If a big chip comes here, or if I started banging it, it could damage they're warning me, Dave, be careful. They can hear too much noise. You're sliding around on the.
That's what the cloth's for, isn't it?
Yeah, but as all that crap, too much crap on the cloth too, and then it sticks on. The cloth doesn't slide on the table, you know. So of course I got to keep careful, and they're keeping me in line here. You know, I can't do anything wrong.
See, and now you've given them more power than
It's just so cool, you know. You could work here on an arcane craft like Japanese woodblock printmaking from 300 years ago, and the people in the chat are, be careful, Dave. Be careful. Look out for this, Dave. It's great. So, and this is probably happening all over the world. Different people who are making things, you know, online now. So the general viewers get all these internal little details of how all these arcane crafts work, you know. There's probably people watching brain surgery. Look out, there's a nerve at the left side there. So.
I do wish there was more, like, other kinds of crafts and stuff on Twitch.
It seems to be growing all the time, to show it. I mean, how do you know there isn't? I know there's probably lots, you know. There was one, somebody sent me a link a couple of weeks back. There was some guy in New Zealand. I guess it's a native, whatever the word, indigenous people, whatever. Maori. And he's carving something. He's got a live stream for this. And the reason somebody sent me the link was because as he's carving away, he's got sort of an open studio outdoors under a shed. Car pulls up and people get out and come and look at him. And it's the Prime Minister of New Zealand drops in on his Twitch stream, you know. Well, I have no idea if this was prearranged or not or whatever. So he's sitting there banging away on this stuff and, oh, hi, it's the Prime Minister. So, I mean, that's not going to happen here in Japan, obviously, but that kind of country, I guess they can do that, you know. Can you imagine the idea of that sort of thing happening in Japan? Absolutely culturally impossible, you know.
Pretty sure any of the old craftsmen, maybe a generation or two ago, say the Prime Minister come in their workshop, they'd probably tell him to leave so they can get some work done.
But it just could never happen the other way. The Prime Minister couldn't be seen to be doing that sort of stuff. Like this pandemic on, he's supposed to be seriously working to save the country, you know. So to be doing something frivolous like that would be unacceptable, you know. For people like me, a normal, you know, a normal culture. What can I say? Where I was born, of course, you know. the Prime Minister's a normal person, whatever. I really sort of feel envious of those kind of countries, the Denmark kind of country, There was one on, somebody again linked to it last night on Twitter. I guess it was the Prime Minister of Denmark, not the current guy, but maybe one or two elections before. They had their election, he was the incumbent, he lost. And there was a photograph, and he got his backpack and walked out to a taxi. When he's leaving, leaving the office, you know why that's news today, because, so. Okay, we're finished this block. Finished means ready for test printing when all the rest of the blocks are ready, so here we go. A Danish person, not accurate. Yeah, fill us in there. That's the news I heard yesterday. Fake news. Somebody's from Denmark and he's correcting me already. Tell me more. Tell me more. If you've got more accurate knowledge of that, let me know so I can stop telling the wrong story. Could a prime minister do something like that if there wasn't a pandemic? It's difficult. Japan's it's in between those two things, Japan, like for example, the Emperor of Japan here, there's no way they can do stuff like the Queen and her family does in Britain, like do normal things, Once you're in this kind of position in Japan, you're the Emperor or you're the Prime Minister or you're the President of a company or something. Once you're in one of these positions, there's a certain way you're supposed to behave. It's the gravitas is there, and you're not allowed to be casual or cool or relaxed. Because the general mood would then be that, hey, you're not being serious about your position or about your job. So I'm speaking in general terms here. As someone like a prime minister or an important business person, or certainly at the top level, stuff like the emperor, you cannot be casual. Nothing can be off the cuff. Nothing can be casual. It's all got to be rigorously by the book. It's just the way the culture works. I mean, there are outliers. What's the guy that runs SoftBank, for example, Son, whatever. He's an outlier. He does whatever he wants. I'm speaking in general terms, but someone like the prime minister, someone's mentioned here. So formality and protocol is the thing here. I don't feel comfortable with that, of course, but it's nothing to do with me. Okay, let's get on. Let's get on. Okay, put this aside. We are going to go back to our transfer sheets. The transfer sheets have already been printed, and as I told you last time, the next one is for the pine needles, pine trees. But before we do this, pause for a second. Let me pause for a second. I have two packages to open up. This is not show and tell, but I have two little envelopes to open here. This one from a book company, and this one. First, it's a birthday card, and it comes from, it doesn't say who it's from, but it's from Canada, and I recognize the handwriting. Is my mother still here? Or has she gone off to have her sherry? Hey, Mom. And then we have, the other one is an adult coloring book. This is a thick birthday card. What's this? Nobody sends me a little birthday card. Maybe it's got money in it. My mother's sending me money for my birthday. She never forgets. She never forgets. I don't really send her a birthday card these days, but she sends me one. It's my birthday. Lounge around. Have a treat. Hope your day is great. Mom, thanks very much. Thanks very much. We won't talk about what number it is because Twitch doesn't allow that, but it's my birthday 2 days from now on Wednesday. I'm 68 now, and we don't talk about what one is coming up in 2 more days. Thanks, Mom. If you're not there, I don't see any comments. Did she go home? Did she leave? Oh, she are here. I am here. Hey, thank you. I tried to Skype you yesterday. I'll try again a bit later this afternoon. Thank you. Now the other one. The other day, Karen on the stream here asked about coloring books. She said, it would be such a cool idea if some of Dave's prints were made into a coloring book. And I have to say that 16 years ago, I got a call from one of Japan's biggest publishing, not biggest publishing, but anyway, a big publishing house in Japan. And they said, Dave, we have a great idea. Can we use some of your woodblock prints for a coloring book? So I said, sure. So they published, this is a great story. It's a good news, bad news story. We did a contract, and I can tell you the number. They paid me 600,000 yen. And what they wanted was 11, 12, or 13 of my woodblock prints with no colors. So I had to get the blocks out, print the key block with no color, and send them over to these guys. They scanned them, and they put them into a coloring book. We signed a contract. It's an actual book, and it's an adult coloring book. It's Otona no Nurie. Otona no Nurie, which doesn't mean sex coloring books. It just means coloring books designed for adults rather than for kids. And there was a huge boom on them about 15 years ago, adult coloring book. So, and they paid me, I said, 600,000 yen. I put that in the bank. Really nice, very nice. The book comes out. I go to my local bookstore. Gee, we don't have it. Do you have the number? And I had been given the ISBN number. So I give them the ISBN number for this book, and they try to get me 2 or 3 copies. I get a phone call back saying, that publisher doesn't exist. So I'm like, whatever. So I get through and contact the people who had done the contract with me. I just got the reference to a lawyer's office. They had gone bankrupt and their assets were all seized days after my book was printed. So Dave has a bright idea. Okay, let me get a hold. Let me find out who these lawyers are. I'll make them an offer and get those boxes of all those books, and I can sell them one by one through my website. No. Pulped. Tens of thousands of my first and only published book, pulped. After Karen talked about this the other day, I remember this episode. I just, for fun, I put into amazon.co.jp, I put in the number. And lo and behold, a website there is selling what they say as used copies of these things for like 400 yen. So I put the order in, and it arrived yesterday from Amazon. My book that was supposedly pulped, which I guess got snuck out of a warehouse somewhere. And here it is. Here, if you could try it, maybe they're on Amazon.com. Who knows? Let's zoom in. Screenshot this. You get the ISBN number? Is it visible? Here in Japan, it's the top number. It's a 978. That's the one that's used in bookstores in Japan. It's a JAN code. And this one is the actual international ISBN number. 950 yen. So I bought my own book. I had to buy my own book using some of the 600,000 yen. So couldn't they have sold to a bookstore? I have no idea. Like I said, when I did try and contact them, they said, no, the assets have been seized and everything's being pulped. That's all I know. I put the phone down and gave up. But here, it seems that they are still out there somewhere. It's no big deal, you know. It's some of the poets' prints that I did from Hyakunin issue. There's images of Dave in his workshop here. We should scan this and put it online. I guess I own the copyright, do I? I've got no idea. No idea.
What you signed.
No, so it depends what I signed. I've got no idea. No idea. It's on Amazon.com, used for $17.99. Wait, would you buy a used coloring book? This was marked as used. I think it just means...
Used on Amazon doesn't exactly mean used. It usually means it's not from the original seller.
So anyway, what do we have here? I don't remember ever this, you know. Nudie Tehon. So these are not colored. This is photographs of my prints. I see. What did they do that for? They put the prints in with photographs with terrible color. That's nothing like the color I used. They've all been adapted and changed in Photoshop. They put the prints in with color first. Oh, there's some bonus stuff. And then, it's that small? Oh, look at this. These are nice reproductions. Oh, here we go. And then, they're on thick. They're on a really thick, I know. So I can use it for watercolor. Yeah. Oh, commentary. They've even got the poem in English. Hey, this is a nice little book. with some extras at the back. Oh, they're postcards. They've done it as an actual postcard. You can cut it out, do your coloring, and send it to your friend. Look at this hip picture. Look at this. How long ago is this? Cool, 2004, I guess. Look at all that not white hair. So, anyway, I have no idea if this is available. I've told you all I know about this. It seems that here in Japan it's marked as used and it was wholesaled out. But there we are. So Karen, to answer your question, we do have a coloring book. Okay, let's get back to work, back to work, back to work. Okay, last night I took the time and trouble. I went around these green things. I put a line in to make sure I know where I'm going here. Someone's asking, could you buy them back wholesale? That's what I tried to do, but the message came, sorry, it's all been disposed of. It was just being disposed. So. Yes, the one I just bought, I'm going to go back to the same website and see if they have more. Yes. Kira-san, in the front of that book, oh, did you put it away? There's the invoice from Amazon. How much did we pay for it? I didn't really pay much attention to it. It doesn't say.
I think that might be on the top half where it...
Yeah, it's gone. It doesn't say. I think I've had 400 or 450 yen or something like that. It doesn't say. No, soka. Oh, it's probably stuck on the outside of the package.
The actual book's at 950 yen.
Yeah, that was the original price. I think it was 400 used or something like this. I don't remember. I'm sorry. So, okay.
Even if that was the original price,
Huh?
950 yen is not bad for a book like this.
Andy the artist, I've just ordered one of these books. It's there. All this comes out of a side off-the-cuff message that Karen posted the other day. You know, Dave should have a coloring book. So. Should I be showing that on the screen? No. It was the invoice to me from Amazon. Oh, ありがとうございます。
神戸から。
そう、半期ですね。ありがとうございます。どうも。From Kobe, that's big news. That's big news.
The bookmark here has an address on it. Is that the address for the original publisher?
Yes, of course, yeah. That's what bookstores keep as their stock control. When they need to order more, it's got the publisher's name on it. So, So those people are gone. That's the company that was bankrupt, back in whatever 2004. But I didn't get screwed. They paid me. The money came into my account first before they did that. So I have no complaint. Just that the book disappeared. Lots of guests here, is it? Rating? No idea who's here. Look at all this, raiders, visitors. Okay, hi guys, welcome. Don't know if you know what's going on. This is part of the stage of woodblock printmaking. Looks like the stream's nuts again this morning. There's all kinds of raiders visiting, So.
Who did you get raided from?
There was one the other day, I don't understand the culture so much, so I don't know really who's doing this, but one came in, I think it said raiding with like 400 people or something, so I don't know. Luckily though, the regular chat members, and they're doing this now, they're explaining to the new visitors what's going on, so. I don't know how a real Twitch stream does this when visitors come. Well, I guess visitors come and they know what's going on. In the case of a game stream, the visitors know what the person is doing. But to a stream like this, visitors come in, they have no idea what's going on. So it's really helpful. The regular chat members explain quite a lot to visitors.
It's actually kind of amusing to watch the larger streamers with 500,000 subs. If they decide, today we're just going to raid a channel with 400 subs.
So good.
And suddenly the streamer's unable to do anything.
Okay, I think we've got it all. These are the areas. This paper is going to be the guide for carving the block that will print the color green, the pine needles here. There's no green here, but it doesn't matter. We're using a bright color so the carver, me in a few minutes, can see it easily. And as we saw in the last YouTube video, it's really easy on these things to miss an area. If I missed something in the middle here, and that wasn't on the brown block and that isn't on the green block, then we get a white space in the middle here. This guy did that. There's a bunch of white spaces in the original print. They really, really were not careful with this. You see here, white, white, white. They didn't care about that. This was a very, very, very rough print. So for me, I've got to compare these two. The brown, which we've already carved here now, and the now soon to be green, and make sure that between the two of them, I don't have any missing places. Upside down, it's here, this one. So as usual with these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double up more. I'm going to put part here on the green one, even though I think it's also on the brown. And we can carve them off later. If we see that there's some areas that are doubled, they can be taken off later. Okay, let's get to it. Oops. Zoom out. Let's paste this down. There's a staggering number of mistakes on this. There's one here. The sun, of course, should have come round to this whole area. Nobody cared. This was an awful print. Did you see this, Eric Kitasan? Do you not think maybe that should perhaps maybe have been read? They didn't care. Well, there was good publishing, there was high quality publishing, and there was medium, and there was junk. It was a full range of stuff. And the person who published this, just whatever. The registration? Whatever. Just whatever. It didn't matter. Get it in the shop and sell it.
I mean, they could have gotten away with it if they did a gradient that started from here.
This was before gradations were invented. This is early 1700s. Gradations were 2 generations after this. Gradations didn't start until 1780, 1790. This is 1720, 1730, 1740. Gradations hadn't been invented yet. This would have been blue, and the blue part of it's faded. It was a blue and gray mix, and the blue part is faded, leaving just the gray for the water and the sky. Email from my daughter. Oh, that's also news. I'm a granddad again. Yesterday. So I became a granddad for the 4th time yesterday. 4th, and I think probably the last time. And it's my first grandson.
First one.
It's 3-in-1 now, 3-to-1. My older daughter has 2 boys. My younger daughter had 1 girl and now a 2nd boy. Congratulations to me. I had nothing to do with this. My part in this ended 35 years ago. So, but that was funny too. I have to ask her about this. She sent me an email saying they did the gender, secret thing. They knew what was coming up, and they were thinking of having a gender party, a reveal party, but it got stopped by the pandemic. They were going to have a party, and the BC government said no. So this went quiet. And it seems anyway, gender reveal parties always end up in chaos. The houses burn down, and there's all kinds of chaos stories to show.
I think like 2 of the last.
Yeah, so it's terrible stories. People get killed and shot, So they decided, let's just keep this quiet. So in their own family, they knew, and the couple knew the gender, and they had told their daughter, Claire, my granddaughter, and she's like 2.5 years old, and she spilled the beans. I'm on a Skype call to her, and she spilled the beans on the Skype call. So my daughter said, "Oh, Dad, now you know." And I didn't know because she's a 2.5-year-old girl, and I can't understand what she's saying, so I couldn't tell what she said. So I don't know. So the gender was revealed to me. It was a boy, and it's going to be called Archie. Which
like Archibald.
I haven't asked you yet. Is it short for Archibald, or it can't be? Nobody would call a child Archibald these days. Is Archie a boy's name?
Like older names are starting to come back.
But to me, Archibald sounds old-fashioned. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to have to ask her. So the boy's name, it's Archie, I guess. And whether it's Archibald or not, I haven't heard that news yet. I don't know. I have to ask her about this. So
I have heard of someone before, full name Arthur, shortened to Archie.
Is Archie short for Arthur?
Not really, but I...
In Australia, who knows what's happening,
Australian names don't matter.
Anyway, talking too much, not working enough.
Sorry, distraction.
Yeah, Archie sounds cute. I get that. So, and anyway, it's nothing to do with in my daughter's brain and in David's brain, I have books that I read in 1952, whatever, that talked about characters called Archie. My daughter doesn't know that stuff, so it's irrelevant, you know. Somebody's saying in Australia they use Sandy as a short form of Alexander.
I have heard that here before.
It's okay. Seems it's a thing, yeah. This is funny. The thing is, the new boy, my new grandson's called Archie. And my mother, who is here today, her name is Betty. And this is interesting because it's not Elizabeth. All her life, she said, "What's Betty?" And they start writing E-L-I-Z. And my mother has to stop. No, it's not Elizabeth. My real name is Betty, B-E-T-T-Y. But there's a gag part of it here now with Betty and Archie. And someone's asking, of course, is there another woman in your family called Veronica? And the thing is, my daughter probably doesn't know about that. So she has named this child Archie, and she probably doesn't know about that.
A lot of the Archie comics were remade into TV series recently.
Really?
Yeah.
So she may know about this with the same characters, Jughead, Archie, Veronica,
Same
and Betty?
characters, yeah, but very, very different stories, I guess.
Well, I hope so. It was pretty bad stuff back in the 1950s.
It was entertainment.
Well, I mean, I was part of it. We had our comic book stacks, you know. This was before comic books went all X-Men and stuff like that. Comic books for us were comic books, you know, I don't know.
Life jokes, comedy.
They were pretty bad stuff, I guess, you know. But they weren't franchised, you know, there was no movie franchise stuff. We had Archie and Jughead, we had the Beano and the Dandy, the British comics, and then there was stuff like Tarzan, you know. Do you remember that word? You don't know that word? There was one instance with a comic book I remember. You know, I never bought the comics myself. My mother would buy them. She's at the grocery store shopping. She's still here, whatever. And at the checkout counter, there's 10 cents or whatever. They're a nickel or 10 cents. So she tossed a couple in the basket, and we were all, "Oh my God, she got 2 more comic books," you know. So we read them and read them and read them and read them again. And we got a stack of comic books about like this, and change them with our friends and stuff like that. And I remember once, one of the comic books, it was probably called Monster Stories or something. It was a sort of a little bit of a horror story. And I'll never, ever, ever forget this. It was a story about a hand, a snake-like hand that came up out of the toilet during the night. And it came through the house and grabbed kids out of their beds and pulled them back down through the toilet. And then the day we got this, my brother and I, we had violent, violent nightmares. And it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Mom, I can't sleep. And I will never forget this. And she comes, whatever, gets to sleep. In the morning, she tears that comic book up, just tears it up, and like flushes it down the toilet or puts it in the garbage or whatever. And sometime, about 10, no, not 10, when the internet first came up or something, this is like 20, 25 years ago, whatever, I started searching for this. I really want to find that comic book. And I couldn't find it at the time, but it's probably out there. There's a comic book. It would be published in 1958 or 59 or 1960 or something like that. And I think it was Monster Comics or something like this.
There's a similar story in a animation series. It's a collection of short Japanese horror stories called, I think it's Yamazandai, I think.
Is my mother still here? I don't know if she flushed it out. She probably just threw it out in the garbage. Of course, that's an exaggeration. But I remember vividly the comic book. I would love to read that again. It's probably online, Kira. Within a few minutes, they're going to find it online. They're going to find it. Did you see that story last week? I had this is fun story. I had a magazine here. What's going on? I took it upstairs. A magazine here from like 1979 with a story that I wrote in it about computer programming. I was showing it to Aoyama-san, so it was here. So I showed it for a minute to the stream. Here's this magazine that I was in, and it had no date or something on it. And within 3 minutes, somebody had an online copy. They posted it to the chat. And there's my story about assembler programming, posted to the chat within 3 minutes of me mentioning this thing on the chat. So somebody is probably going to show. The chat's gone quiet. They're all trying to find out who could be the first person to find
I
this.
think someone was saying on chat before that the colouring book's now sold out.
Huh?
I think someone was saying on chat that the colouring book, adult colouring book,
Well, this
is now
one?
sold out.
Well, I guess so. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I'm supposed to be working here. What's going on?
I'm just trying to watch how to do this because I always mess this up.
Without my glasses, I'll mess it up too. So I just did. I chipped too much. Look at that. It went up. We're doing this too backwards from all the way it used to be. They might have found this. I'm not quite sure. In the old days, working for the transfer sheets, what they used to do, and this I used to do it too, and it was difficult to happen. In the old days, you'd get your key block, and you print your transfer sheet with the paper on top of the whole block. So it prints the outlines, and it prints the corner. So your transfer sheet had the outlines, and it had the corner as a printed thing as well. Then the carver, and I used to do this, the older guys still do it this way. They take the whole sheet and paste it down like this. And you can see the corner then, and then you cut the corner as well as cutting the lines. And it's nowhere near as accurate as doing this way, cutting a separate corner. So it frustrated me for years till I finally realized, Dave, you're a good printer. Cut the registration marks first and put this in, Somebody say, I can't imagine Dave cutting corners. Chocolate egg. Best joke of the day.
They found an image from a comic book, but not the actual comic book itself.
We're talking about this story. I'll probably have nightmares tonight from having. Someone's voted 7 for that one. The puns get ranked as well? I don't know. So that's an interesting point too. Someone's talking about that hand coming up out of the toilet. Isn't that an old yokai or something?
Yeah, that's what.
But there was no toilets. I mean, there was the pit. So the hand comes out of the pit,
Thinking of is the yokai.
I'll still remember it. I must have been 6 years old or 7 years old or something. I don't remember. Whatever. I don't know. Was it an American comic? It must have been. There were no Canadian comics back then. I was living in Canada, but this would have been an American comic, of course. And I may be wrong. I'm saying I think the name began with an M, as in monster, but I don't know. I'm telling you, I was 7 years old, so I really don't remember. But the story, absolutely. There were scenes, it was nighttime, there were scenes of the quiet houses, people all sleeping safe in their beds, a manhole or something, and then coming up out of the toilet. How's our time? We're okay, 9:11. We're still fine. Yeah, we came to Canada in 1957, and so it wouldn't have been right away. It was, give it 2 or 3 years, so 59, 60, 61, somewhere around there. Okay, the easy part of the peel.
Maybe there's none of them comics left because all the parents pulled them out.
Yeah, that's right. Every single copy got torn up and thrown in the garbage by the parents that night. Maybe. 10-10. You're a little bit early on that. There was also a comment on the chat the other day. I did this the other day. I did a peel like this, lick my finger and take it off. And one of the comments on the chat that I read at lunchtime, somebody was grossed out and they left. Like, it's Corona era, you're not supposed to do this. I
can understand if you're working in a crowded.
Yeah, I get it too. So, I'm like, I know this is being streamed, but I don't think anybody's going to have, I'm going to get the same comments. It'll say weak start, because I don't have enough room to get started. Here we go.
Yeah, same thing. Looks like I found a picture.
Here we go. So that's going to get like a 9 out of 10 because of the weak start. I need more room to get started here. This is the bull gampi. This is the 5 momme gampi. This is the 5. It's a 7 and a 9, 9.5. Yeah. This is the gampi from Naruko. The washi maker is called Naruko, and it looks like a print actually. I've just spit on this, so you relax.
Yeah,
whatever.
Still got the highlighter and stuff on it as well.
It just doesn't get any better than this. It's just perfect. I could pull a bit more off this too, even if I want. But, and then at the moment of carving, a touch of the oil. If you're still thinking that it's not transparent enough, at the moment of carving, oil goes on, and there's nothing left.
That's scary.
Nothing left.
That can erase the lines
No.
easily.
No. You don't blob it on. I don't blur it everywhere. Just the moment where you're going to carve something right there. And also, it actually helps lubricate the knife too as well. Yeah. See, the little touch of oil there. And it would be impossible to make any kind of a clearer, sharper hanchta than this. Absolutely impossible.
Monster of Dread End.
They're finding something, are they?
I think they found a series of comic books. But still no link to the actual one.
Okay, well, I'll have a look later on. Thank you very much. Well, no, someone's saying that's not a 1960. Oh, it's 9:15. Crap, I'm supposed to work. It's show and tell time. Ow! Well, it's been a fun stream, but I don't know about getting any work done. Okay, show and tell. We have stuff to show. No, if I put oil everywhere in advance, it softens the glue and stuff will start to lift off. You put oil normally just at the moment before. Like I did it here because I'm not going to carve that part. But tomorrow when I start carving this zone, I will put oil here and then carve it. But if I make it too, even oil, it's not moisture, but it's enough liquidy stuff that it can peel off the glue. So no, nothing in advance. Just right where you are, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. Okay, we have a single show and tell. It's in 2 envelopes because the guy had it on auctions over a period of a couple of nights. We saw a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago on this show and tell, do you remember? We saw some what are called pochibukuro, pouch envelopes. Pochibukuro, pouch envelopes. This is the same publisher. It's a place called Sakurai Do. They're gone now, long gone. This was stuff that would have been published in 1970s, 1980s. It's not that old at all. And these are prints, but nobody bought them as prints. They bought them as functional objects. The ones we showed the other day were pochibukuro, pouches for putting money in. This is different. These are what is called in Japanese letter setto. Have you seen these, Kira-san?
No.
Letter setto.
Oh, they're like a correspondence.
I mean, I don't know if people still write letters. No idea if anybody in the world writes letters anymore. But I cannot get in here without destroying it. So let's just. I do not need this plastic package. People put them in plastic with so much tape, you know. Okay, let's slide these out of here. And we have one of the envelopes. This is an actual woodblock printed envelope. This is the kind of stuff you would put money in, perhaps, or perhaps a letter. And here we have a letter set. It is a woodblock printed envelope. Let's zoom in a bit. It's a woodblock printed envelope. It's Kyoto style stuff. It's a Moko, a little girl with her obi on the back, or perhaps it's supposed to be a ningyo, a doll, no idea. That's the envelope. And then the paper, this should open up just a sec here. Here we go. This is the paper. And of course it's traditional Japanese. You take your brush and you would start here, and writing vertically, you will write your letter. And I don't think anybody would use 3 sheets of the same stuff for your letter. This is all standard size stuff. You would probably maybe have just, you would write the letter with the first sheet with a picture, and then any subsequent sheet, second or third, would be, someone's asking, is it scented? I doubt very much that it would have been, it smells like washi to me, but whatever. I don't think it would have been scented. That's not a thing you would buy. So this is a letter set. It was a mixed pack. This is the same thing. This is from Kyoto. It's Sakurai Do Hanga. Ooh, this is not woodblock print. These are offset prints. I couldn't tell from the auction. This is not woodblock, this is offset. It's the same publisher. These are postcards to use in the mail. It's difficult to tell in the auctions. You know, we got that set the other day, the Tokaido set, 53 prints, woodblock printed. This particular group, excuse me, this particular group is not woodblock. So am I going to write a letter to a friend with this? No, of course not. It's going to go into our collection. And the second package has, I think, offset printing. Just modern, modern commercial printing is done offset with oil and water on a printing machine. It's offset lithography is the full name. So here's the second package. It's going to have more of the same, just different designs. Here we are. And again, it's so difficult to get inside these plastic bags without destroying stuff. Oh, look at this. We had a bunch of sets. Whoa, 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 whoa. I had no idea there was this much in there. Let's get organized here. Sorry about this. Okay, 2 more. Again, this is really typical of Kyoto stuff. The Kyoto housewife would use something like this to write a letter to her friend. Also too, the paper will be very absorbent. This is washi paper, and when you hit this with a brush with ink, it will be very, very, very absorbent. I guess that was the standard set. These all seem exactly the same. 3 sheets of paper plus 1 envelope. So I guess that's a standard set, but I really can't imagine anybody using more than 1 sheet with the color on it. So I would have expected 3 sheets and maybe 3 envelopes, and then maybe 3 blank sheets. So someone could write a letter starting with the picture, going on to a normal sheet, and then putting it into the envelope. Anyway, that's what it was. Obviously, the publishers knew their market, so presumably they know more about it than I do. Kabuki patterns, kumadori. Unused. These were not so expensive on the auction. They were 10,000 yen. They were 1,000 yen each one. $10 for each of these packs, which is probably more than it sold for originally. I really don't know what the price would have been back in the old days. But we now have 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one, I see. Look at this. This one's a little bit different. Interesting. This one, remember, you always write vertically, so this one, they've put the picture at the top. This is the famous Kyoto, the fire mountain, where they write the big character on the mountain. So your person would have written the letter this way with the picture at the top and the matching envelope. So we have 4 of these sets now. Very nice. Nice little addition to our collection. Now that's not much of a spectacular show and tell. So we've got another few minutes left. So I'm going to put these aside for a second. And there's something else I can repeat. This is what we looked at the other day. What's today? Today's Monday. On Saturday, we got a batch of prints in, and they are already now online, and they are already now safely housed in our collection in a postage stamp album. These are the prints. These are the prints we saw. This is Monday. This is from Saturday. These are the prints we saw on Saturday. The Tokaido Meibutsu set with the poetry. And this is how they are going to live in our collection. And these are online. And the link is, I forget the link. Somebody can post the link again, maybe to this set. I'm sorry, John or somebody else. And we saw these the other day. And let me pull one out just so you can have a look at it closely. This is from early Taisho, and they are a spectacular, an absolutely spectacular group of senshafta prints. These are among the most well-made prints we have ever seen here, ever. This is the satirical poetry, the Sendyu poetry, and then the famous product of each station. This is Nihonbashi, which means fish, of course, because the fish market was at Nihonbashi. And those of you who are on the stream today know what happened. I thought it was a broken set because there was only 28 sheets of the paper here, but no, it is actually a complete set because most of the prints in the series have 2 stations on them. And one of the stations has a poem on it, and the other station has simply the meibutsu, the famous goods. And these are all online now in spectacular, spectacular high resolution. The missing station was Kusatsu, the second before Kyoto. Don't know why it's missing. Senbei. I can read some of this. Something senbei, some famous senbei from Kanagawa. And I'm going to hand these over to Rose-san, and she's going to try herself and try and help me find somebody who can help us figure out the poetry, because I would really, really, really like working with the poetry here. Someone's talking about cotton gloves. We don't need this. These are woodblock prints. We ourselves know how to make woodblock prints. We know what the paper will handle. My hands are a normal human dry hand. Of course, there's oil in them. This has been handled many times over the years, especially by the people who made it. This is not cotton glove territory. Just handle carefully, clean and dry, and we're okay. Actually, we are saving these things. They came to me, this group came in a washi package, but the other prints that were in the same auction that day, which we'll be seeing next week, came in brown paper packages. And the prints that were in contact with the brown paper have been severely affected by the acid in the paper. This particular group was wrapped in a washi package. And if you've got time for it, take a look at these online. Because these are glorious, glorious prints. Get your browser window wide, turn up the room lights, and study these. They're fabulous, fabulous prints. Yes, this is a stamp album for postage stamps. And as such, I would trust it. I assume that they've done what they can to make it, the backing paper would presumably be acid-free. I don't know. Something designed for postage stamps. After I photographed these, I didn't scan them, I photographed them, and every single one I looked at and studied. There's glorious, glorious work here, I just keep saying the same thing, I'm sorry, but this is now one of the absolute treasures of our collection. It's a small, insignificant item, but this is one of the treasures in our collection. When we were going through the other day, we were checking the stations. We got to, what is it? I forget the name. Otsu is the last one before Kyoto. And this is where Kusatsu Station should have been, and it really doesn't. And if I'd been designing it, I could have put Kusatsu here and Kyoto here, but they didn't do that. This is a full page for Kyoto. So we have one station missing. And yet this is 27, and that's 28. There's no sheet of paper missing. When were they made? There's no date on the set itself, but going by the paper, going by the style of working, going by the other prints that were in the same package together with them, it's early Taisho, Taisho 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there. What's the collection for? How can I verbalize that? It wasn't originally a collection. It was Dave trying to learn how to make woodblock prints. So Dave here bought some older prints to have a look at and to study to see how they were made and what he could learn about printing and carving. Bit by bit by bit by bit, we grew, and now it's going to become the focus of this business moving forward to the future. The Moko Hong Kong collection is going to be what this building is about. When we open again after the pandemic, it's not going to be a standard shop. It's going to be a small, it's gallery or museum. I'm not sure. Museum, I guess, is the word to use. And the Moko Hong Kong will be a museum, and a small little shop will be attached at the back of it. And we're going to show prints. We're going to have them beautifully lit up. We're going to have albums people can look through. That's going to be the focus from now on, because we're transitioning to a model for after Dave's gone. Dave was doing print parties for 5 years, but I won't be here to do print parties in the future. So for something that we want to have this business stable and move forward to the future, we're going to transition to being more of a museum. Of course, still publishing. Upstairs, we're still making prints. How many light sources when we use for photographing? I should do a blog post about it. We put the prints against the wall. We have light above it, quite high, 2 meters away, cascading down over these prints. We shoot first on a gray cardboard, 18% gray, shoot there, then put the prints up and shoot, and white balance it as against that 18% gray. So yeah, we are going to wrap up now. It's 9:30, and I really have a ton of work to do. FedEx didn't come on Saturday. They didn't show up. They're going to be due here this morning, hopefully. I got to get that FedEx shipment off this morning. I got to call them. They'll be open now. I'm going to call them now. Okay, I'm on my way. thanks for all the people who have talked about their birthdays and stuff. No big deal, at least at this age, no big deal, but it is fun to see it pass every year. I'll be back here from now, 3 days from now, Thursday morning, minus the same time, minus 90 minutes, and we'll be doing the same job, just carving more of these color blocks for the first print in next year's series. That's pretty much it for now. It's been a real bit of a mixed stream today. Dave's been talking too much, I think, and not working enough, actually, but whatever. Things are what they are. Thanks for the support from our 3 mods who helped get through this. See you on Thursday, and bye for now. Let's take a look outside. Have they finished moving those trees? Yes. All quiet, blue sky. Bye for now. See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.